Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do my October TBR. So October is one of my favorite months, so I've been saving quite a bit of books for this month because if you can hear my dryer in the background, I'm so sorry, because I absolutely love this month. I love spooky things. I'm definitely getting more into horror these days, which is slowly becoming like one of my favorite genres. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to start with the content stuff that I plan to film this month. First of which is a 3-book vlog. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I will give you one hint. I will be reading Nosferatu by Joe Hill. Nosferatu seems to follow 2 main characters, one named Victoria, who has a knack for finding things and fixing them, and it seems to be some sort of unusual ability because she doesn't really want to tell anyone about it. And then the next character in this book is a creepy sounding man named Charles Banks, and Charles has a gift of his own. He owns a 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the vanity plate Nosferatu, and he likes to take children on rides in it. In the Wraith, he and his innocent guests can slip out of the everyday world to an astonishing playground of amusements he calls Christmasland. This is one of Joe Hill's books that I've been eagerly wanting to read, and specifically it was in contrast with other books that I have on this little secret TBR, this little secret vlog. I tend to enjoy Joe Hill's prose a bit more than his father Stephen King's, but I haven't read much of Joe Hill at this point, so I'm very excited to dive into it. It's definitely one that I have been wanting to read for a while. Next, for content, the NetGalley gods are on me again. I have let a couple of arcs get away with me, and a lot of them are horror, so I just decided to shove them into one vlog. So in this vlog, you can expect to see And Then She Fell by Alicia Elliott. I saw this at Indigo recently and the cover is absolutely stunning. And I'm very excited to pick this one up because it seems to tackle motherhood, which is something that I find so interesting, especially in horror. So it's a mind-bending, razor-sharp look at motherhood and mental health that follows a young Indigenous woman who discovers that the picture-perfect life she has always hoped for may have horrifying consequences. On the surface, Alice is exactly where she thinks she should be. She's just given birth to a beautiful baby girl. Her charming husband, Steve, who is a white academic whose area of study is conveniently her own Mohawk culture, is nothing but supportive. And they've moved into a new home in a posh Toronto neighborhood. But Alice could not feel like more of an imposter. She isn't connecting with her daughter, a struggle made even more difficult by the recent loss of her own mother, and every waking moment is spent hiding her despair from Steve and the ever-watchful neighbors. This sounds amazing. It sounds so good. I'm very excited to pick this up. It's probably the book in the vlog that I'm the most excited for and the one that I will be starting after I finish filming this video. And another new release that I'll throw into what you can expect from this vlog is Hatchet Girls by Diana Rodriguez Wallace. So this is a supernatural horror that reminds us family can be our saving grace or our biggest curse. Set 100 years after the Borden murders, this propulsive thriller imagines what a similar trial might look like today. I don't know what the Borden murders are. Let's look together. So Lizzie Andrew Borden was an American woman who was tried and acquitted on August 4th, 1892. Axe murdered her father and her stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts. When the parents of the richest family in Fall River are found murdered by an axe, the town is quick to blame newcomer Vic. It doesn't help that he was caught standing over the bodies with blood on his hands and can't remember anything about the night in question. But Vic's sister Tessa knows that Vic would never be capable of such a gruesome crime. Haunted by the mistakes she made that led her family to Fall River in the first place, she sets out to prove her brother's innocence. Sounds like a slasher, sounds like a murder mystery. I am intrigued. So those 2 among 3 other books I will be reading for this art vlog. I don't know who I thought I was, but apparently we will be able to do this. And then just as a reminder, the Rick Riordan book me and Hanani will be reading for our Rick Riordan along this month is Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor. This is the 2nd book in the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series, which follows a teenager named Magnus Chase who one day discovers that he is being hunted by these evil gods of Asgard based on the fact that he is able to utilize his birthright, which is this talking sword that I absolutely loved, in order to save the Norse gods from Ragnarok. I absolutely enjoyed the first book, and if you would like to see a vlog for that, I will leave it linked up above. So I'm very excited to continue in this series because I just feel like Ricky Boy is back with his little sarcastic teenagers, and I love that. And then lastly, for some sort of content this month, we have the Professor Kelsey's book club live show for the month of October, which will take place in November, and it will be for Confessions by Kanea Minato. This book has intrigued me since I first heard about it. Following the accident that occurred on the ground of the middle school that Yuko Moriguchi works at, Yuko has just given up and tenured her resignation. But first, she still has one last lecture to deliver. She tells a story that upends everything her students knew about two of their peers and sets in motion a maniacal plot for revenge. So this seems to be a confrontation between a teacher and two of the students that she teaches. I don't know if this is a spoiler. Oh no, it says right in the back, her pupils murdered her daughter. Now she will have her revenge. Nothing sounds more interesting to me than that. Me and my friends Justin and Bobby will be reading this and we will do the live show and you will see our thoughts. But I know that we're all like really excited to pick this up because it just sounds amazing. And then lastly, I have a couple of books here that are within the spooky horror October-y vibes that I just want to read for no other reason. Well, actually, this one has a reason. This is The Hexologist by Josiah Bancroft, and I am reading this for my friend Danny over at Current Chapters Patreon book club for the month. I have never read from Josiah Bancroft before, but I know he did the Semlin Ascends series. I never had a real interest, but this seems to be one of his new releases, and it seems short. So I'm thinking that if I like this, I could probably go back to the Semlin Ascends series. So this is the first book in a wildly innovative and mesmerizing new fantasy series where magical mysteries abound and only one team can solve them, the hexologists. Isolde and Warren Wibley are quite accustomed to helping desperate clients with bugbears of city life. Aided by hexes and a bag of charmed relics, the Wilbys are well acquainted with the weird and they never shy away from a challenging case. But when they are approached by the royal secretary and told the king pleads to be baked into a cake, going so far as to wedge himself inside a lit oven, the Wilbys soon find themselves embroiled in a mystery that could very well see the nation turned on its head. So this seems like a historical fantasy that is involved with hexes and some sort of like creepy unknown, and I'm definitely interested in reading this. It'll be my first exposure to Josiah Bancroft, like I said, so I'm really looking forward to diving in, seeing what it is, seeing if I like the writing, and seeing if I enjoy the story overall. After that, I already have Joe Hill on the TBR. Why not add his father? You know, this is Night Shift and it is the next book I need to read. I'm trying to get through like all of Stephen King's books. I am trying to follow publication order when I can. And the next book I have to read is Night Shift. But this, I believe, is a collection of short stories, which I'm really excited to read because I don't think I've read a short story collection from Stephen King before. Night Shift is Stephen King at his chilling best with 20 terrifying tales. King's first collection of short stories showcases the darkest depths of his brilliant imagination. Here we see mutated rats gone bad, a possessed evil lawnmower, unsettling children from the heartland, children of the corn, heard about that, a reclusive alcoholic who begins a gruesome transformation, and many more shadows and visions that will haunt you long after the last page is turned. Interested to see this. A lot of the short stories I have heard of before, and while I haven't watched all of Stephen King's like movies, I know of them just from pop culture in general. So a lot of these short stories I recognize a little bit. So I'm really excited to pick this one up and see how I feel. Maybe I could start reading like a short story a night and try to get this done since it's 20 pages and it's already October 3rd. Might as well do that. And then lastly, I am reading a book that I really think is gonna scare me. I have really grown over the years. I definitely would say for the past like 27 years of my life, I have been a big little bitch when it comes to scary things. And I've realized that not everything scares me. In fact, there is like one element of horror that I think is really popular that really terrifies me, and that has anything to do with like the paranormal, ghosts. As a child who was raised Roman Catholic, the devil, evil, hell, ghosts, this stuff still scares me and terrifies me to this day. So that's why I think this book is really gonna scare me. This is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. So we can pretty much guess what this book is going to be about. High school sophomores Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since 4th grade, but after an evening of skinny dipping goes disastrously wrong, Gretchen begins to act different. She's moody, she's irritable, and bizarre incidents keep happening whenever she's nearby. Abby's investigation leads her to some startling discoveries, and by the time their story reaches its terrifying conclusion, the fate of Abby and Christian will be determined by a single question. Is their friendship power enough to beat the devil? I trust Grady Hendrix to make this a little campy, a little funny, because I read Horror Store by him and it was like a take on like an evil IKEA, and I found it to be more funny than scary. It was definitely scary. Like there were scary moments, but I appreciated the like discussions of like capitalism and like corporate life and the humor that he adds into the book. So I'm hoping If anybody will make me less scared about exorcisms, it's Grady Hendrix. It has to be. I'm terrified to read this, but you know, I will do it. I will do it for the spirit of Halloween. We need to do things that scare us sometimes, you know? And that's it. Those are all of the books I would like to read in the month of October. Please let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of them. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know. And if you would like to follow me on my reading journey, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel, makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye.